Most people assume that starting a company in a foreign country is only for big investors with huge budgets and legal teams. But that assumption quietly causes thousands of entrepreneurs to overlook opportunities in places that are far more accessible than they think. And Tunisia is one of those places. Because here's the surprising truth. Registering a company in Tunisia is not just for local business owners. In fact, more foreign entrepreneurs are starting to explore Tunisia as a low-cost entry point into North Africa, European trade routes, and emerging digital markets. But there is one detail most people miss right away. And that one detail completely changes how you should approach the entire process. And if you're planning to start an LLC in Tunisia, there's something extremely important you need to understand first. Because while the system is straightforward on paper, the real-world process has layers that can either make your setup smooth and fast, or slow and frustrating if you don't know what you're doing. Let's begin with a story. Michael is a freelance software developer from the United States. He's been working remotely for years, building apps for clients in Europe and the Middle East. But recently, he started noticing something interesting. Many of his clients were asking if he had a company based closer to their region. Not just a freelancer account, but a proper business entity that could invoice locally, reduce tax friction, and build trust. At the same time, Sarah, a digital marketing consultant from Chicago, was facing a different challenge. Her agency was growing, but payment processing fees and international restrictions were eating into her profits. She wanted a legal structure outside the US that could help her expand globally without the heavy costs of Western company formation. Both of them eventually came across Tunisia. And at first, it didn't make sense. Tunisia isn't the first country people think of when they hear LLC formation. But as they dug deeper, they discovered something surprising. Tunisia offers a structured, legally recognized business framework called a SARL, which is the closest equivalent to an LLC in many Western countries. But here's where things get interesting. Because understanding what a SARL is only the beginning. The real challenge is understanding how to actually register it, step by step, without getting lost in bureaucracy or unnecessary delays. So let's break this down in a way that actually makes sense, even if you've never registered a company in your life. First, you need to understand what an LLC equivalent looks like in Tunisia. In Tunisia, the most common form of limited liability company is called a SARL, which stands for Société à responsabilité limitée. This structure is designed for small and medium-sized businesses and functions very similarly to an LLC. It separates your personal assets from your business liabilities, meaning your personal finances are generally protected if the company faces debt or legal issues. But here's the problem. Most people assume forming a company is just filling out a form. In reality, it's a sequence of legal, administrative, and financial steps that must be done in the correct order. And missing one step can delay the entire process. Now, let's go back to Michael. When Michael decided to explore Tunisia, he thought he could just register online in a few days. But when he started researching, he quickly realized there were multiple stages. Name verification, legal drafting, capital requirements, tax registration, and more. And this is where many entrepreneurs get overwhelmed. But there's a smarter way to look at it. Instead of seeing it as one big complicated process, you break it into phases. And once you do that, everything becomes much more manageable. The first phase is choosing your company structure and name. In Tunisia, your company name must be unique and approved by the relevant authorities before registration can continue. This might sound simple, but it actually plays a big role in your timeline. Many applicants lose days or even weeks because they don't prepare alternative names. Zara made this mistake early on. She chose a name that was too generic. And it got rejected twice. That delay alone pushed her entire launch schedule back by nearly a month. But here's the insight most people miss. The name approval process is not just administrative. It is also a legal filter to ensure no conflict with existing businesses. So choosing a distinctive name is not optional. It's strategic. Once the name is approved, the next phase is drafting the company's statutes. This is where your business structure is legally defined. The statutes include details like your business purpose, ownership distribution, management structure, and operational rules. And this is where things can go very wrong if you rush. Because if your statutes are too vague, banks and authorities may question your legitimacy. But if they are too restrictive, you may limit your future growth without realizing it. Michael ran into this issue when he tried to keep everything simple. He wrote very minimal statutes, thinking it would make the process faster. Instead, he had to revise the document twice after legal review. But here's the key insight. Tunisia's system prefers clarity over simplicity. The more clearly your business activity is defined, the smoother your approval process becomes. Now let's pause for a moment because this is important. At this stage, many people think they need to be physically present in Tunisia to complete everything. But that's not always true. In many cases, you can appoint a local representative or work with a legal service provider who handles submissions on your behalf. And this is where the process becomes more accessible than people expect. But there's one detail most people miss. Even if you can register remotely, certain banking and identity verification steps may still require physical presence or notarized documentation, depending on your nationality and business type. Now let's move to the capital requirement stage. Unlike some countries that require very high startup capital, Tunisia's SARL structure is relatively flexible. However, you still need to deposit a minimum share capital into a local bank account before final registration. And this is where Sarah faced another challenge. She assumed she could just transfer funds instantly and move forward. But international banking compliance slowed the process. Her transfer required additional documentation, proof of source of funds, and bank verification. And what happens next changes everything. Because once your capital is deposited, the bank issues a certificate that becomes a critical part of your legal file. Without this certificate, your registration cannot proceed. So this step is not just financial. It is foundational. Once capital is verified, the next step is submitting your full application to the Tunisian Business Registry. This includes your statutes, identity documents, bank certificate, and registration forms. At this stage, authorities review everything for compliance. And here's the interesting part. Approval timelines can vary depending on completeness. A well-prepared application can move quickly. A poorly prepared one can get stuck in back-and-forth corrections. Michael experienced this firsthand. His first submission was rejected due to missing document formatting. It wasn't a major issue, but it caused a delay that could have been avoided with better preparation. But this is where it gets important to understand the mindset shift. Registering a company in Tunisia is not about speed, it's about precision. The system rewards accuracy, consistency, and complete documentation. Once your company is officially registered, you receive your legal registration number. But you're still not fully operational yet. Because there's another critical step, tax registration. Your company must be registered with Tunisia's tax authorities to obtain a tax identification number. This allows you to invoice clients legally, pay taxes, and operate within the financial system. And this is where many entrepreneurs finally feel real relief, because the business is now officially recognized. But here's something most guides don't emphasize. Your obligations don't end at registration. You must also comply with ongoing reporting, accounting, and tax filings. Sarah learned this early when she hired a local accountant. She realized that maintaining compliance was actually easier than expected, as long as everything was organized from the beginning. Now let's connect everything. What Michael and Sarah both realized is that forming a company in Tunisia is not just a legal process. It is a strategic entry point into a wider regional economy. Tunisia sits at the crossroads of Europe, Africa, and the Middle East. That positioning creates opportunities for trade, outsourcing, consulting, and digital services. But only if your structure is set up correctly from day one. And here's the final insight before we wrap this section. Most failures in company registration don't come from legal impossibility. They come from lack of preparation, missing documents, unclear statutes, or misunderstandings about process order. But once you understand the sequence, everything becomes significantly easier. Now imagine Michael again. A few months later, his company is fully registered. He is invoicing international clients through his Tunisian entity. His taxes are structured more efficiently. And his business credibility has increased. Zara is in a similar position. Her agency now operates with a more stable international structure, and she has expanded her client base beyond the US-wide. And what changed everything for both of them was not complexity, but clarity. Because once you understand how the system works, you stop reacting and start planning. But there's still more to this journey. Because choosing Tunisia is just one part of a broader global strategy for entrepreneurs looking to structure international businesses efficiently. In the next part, we'll explore how taxation, banking access, and operational setup work after registration, and why many entrepreneurs underestimate this stage entirely. Because this is where long-term success is actually built. And if you've been following this so far, you're already thinking differently than most beginners. You're not just looking at registration. You're looking at structure, stability, and scalability. That shift alone puts you ahead. To wrap everything up, registering an LLC equivalent in Tunisia through a SARL structure involves a clear sequence. Choosing your name, drafting statutes, depositing capital, submitting registration documents, and completing tax setup. Each step builds on the previous one, and skipping or rushing any part can create delays. But when done correctly, it becomes a powerful foundation for international business expansion. If you found this guide helpful, and want more in-depth breakdowns of global company formation and international business strategies, make sure to subscribe to the channel for more practical, step-by-step insights like this.